do new ALTs most understand about their role when they first arrive in Japan?
Fundamentally, the role is intentionally ambiguous. They misunderstand that they think it's a teaching job, or they think it's a my contract's going to be with this group or with this group, or they misunderstand who's looking after them at the school, who's going to guide them, who's going to look after daily things. What I just see over and over again is the miscomprehension of what the job is, and it's intentionally like that. So the misunderstanding is that what the role is, what the job is, what an ALT is, and the vagueness has been there since the beginning, and it's never been solidified.
Many ALTs say they feel underused or sidelined. Is this individual schools or the system itself?
So in 1987, when this particular ALT system started, there were ALT systems before that in Japan, and they just bundled them together to form the JET program. And it was for internationalization in a nutshell. It was Ronald Reagan and the Prime Minister Nakasone. They made a pact because of the trade imbalance between Japan and American goods, and Japan offered the JET program as a gift. So it's a soft power move from Japan to bring people from Japan in these non-teaching roles, and for them to go back to the countries to tell everyone about Japan, how good it is. When teachers, they could be real teachers, they could just be someone on only gap year, come here, they have that idea that they're going to be a teacher, but they get sidelined, like the question asked. And that's just a part of the structure of the ALT system. It's intentionally made that way. Teachers weren't here to be teachers, they were here to be symbols of like internationalization, and then leave Japan once their contracts are finished.
What do Japanese teachers most expect from ALTs, even if they don't say so directly?
So the new younger teacher and the one with 40 years experience will want different things from the ALT. So one year the JT will get the JET ALT, then next year they'll get the very, very experienced ALT. And they don't really know a lot about who hires. That there's JETs, there's direct hire from boards of education, and there's the 100+ private companies or dispatch companies. So in very, very general terms, they want some support, but without disruption. They generally require low risk, dependable ALTs they can work with. So if you're coming to Japan, don't rock the boat. I'd say spend a while in Japan, spend a while in your school getting to know your teachers and kind of feeling the air about what they expect from you. I mean, because I could say in general terms, this new teacher would just want to sit at the back of the class and watch you teach and take notes, which is very common. But the teacher who's got 40 years of experience will direct you a bit more. So I'd say be observant, make communication, talk at them as much as you can. Choose when to talk wisely, though, because teachers are very, very busy people.
So, how can ALTs build good relationships when communication is limited or roles are unclear?
Importantly, I'd say respect the rhythm of the school, but schools are very different from each other. If we go to work in one school, we might be there once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month. So it does take a while to get into the rhythm of the school. I mean, do they have morning meetings? Some schools do, some schools don't. So communication is really clear in this school. There'll be issues with students. All schools tend to have the same sort of singing event or sports day and these events. But aside the daily running of the schools, they're all different. But just be mindful of the school rhythms and the workload of the teachers.
So, you've written a lot about long term ALTs. So, what distinguishes those who settle from those who burn out?
Jet ALTs tend to come to Japan and they're off within 1 or 2 years. But there are now, because the ALT system has been in existence since 1987, many, many, many ALTs who have been here for 10, 20, 30 years. After speaking to many, many of them, I think they set realistic expectations because they've been reading the air, they've been looking at schools, they've been working in 30, 40, 50 different schools with hundreds of teachers. It's the age-old game of experience, right? So their expectations get more and more realistic. They don't enter a school thinking, I'm going to change everything. I'm going to change the whole education system here. The English level's going to go right up. They're all going to pass their exams. They know when the Japanese teacher is not doing so well, or a new Japanese teacher, or they trust you, or whatever dynamic there, and you can do more. But then, this teacher who likes to control the whole class, you just sit back. So they have a literacy of the system. Another final thing, I suppose, is support networks. If you've been here for so many years, you'll have friends and you'll know where to go, or you'll have hobbies, you'll have a community. Understanding the whole school culture, the Japanese teachers, the students, the their society where they live.
So, if an ALT understood one structural feature of Japanese education, what would make their life easier?
Decentralization, because every small town, every city, and every prefecture has a board of education. They can employ whatever ALTs they want. Direct hire for the board of education, dispatch companies, and the JET program. So there's three main types. So depending on budget and all kinds of things, the board of education might say, "Oh, this year we're going to have all direct hire." So if they had a contract with a dispatch company, whoever worked for them before has just lost their job, and then JET, they just didn't employ any JETs this year. So they direct how you're employed. So as an ALT, if you're going to work for a dispatch company, for example, you could suddenly lose your job like that. So because of the decentralization, it's down to the board of education who employs you. In school life, I'm a direct hire. If they just suddenly say we're going to do all JETs next year, we're not going to have direct hires anymore, that would be awful. And there's stories all around Japan like this every year of people who've got kids and mortgages who've just lost their job because everything is decentralized and the board of education hire whoever they want to hire. On the schools, yeah, every school is different because it's so decentralized. They love the Ministry of Education saying, teach this textbook, teach these lessons, and only do what we tell you to do. There's no going away from the script. But they're all managed in their own kind of way with their clubs, their meetings, and how they talk to each other, and what their workload is. If they have somebody who has little jobs to clean up the school after the school, there's all little jobs. So I'd say to new ALTs, be aware it's decentralized, and this board of education will be completely different from this one to this one to this one, and this school will all be completely different too. The concerning thing is if you're going to work for a dispatch company, you might lose your contract with this board of education. So you'll have to relocate over there or something.